amused. We appreciate whatever reaction you're having. Would you like to introduce yourself to these fine people?
Yeah. I'm Minnich. I'm the director of the film, The Straight Guys.
Yes.
And I'm Vlad Ketkovitch, coming from Russia, but living now in France since the war started. I took my family and escaped the regime, and I was happy to participate with the RIX project as a Russian co-producer, line producer.
Co-producer, line producer, and you would term yourself the producer?
No, I'm the director of the film. Yeah.
Okay, that's your primary role.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a jaw-dropping film. The structure of the story, I would describe it as the story of a man with a dream he cannot let go of. And his dream is to build a connection between East and West, West and East, by way of, is it a tunnel?
A tunnel, yes.
A tunnel that cuts through the Bering.
The Bering Strait.
Yeah. Tell us more about it.
It's a tunnel that would go under the Bering Strait, and that's what connects Asia to North America. And it's only 80 kilometers across.
Yeah.
And the tunnel would be about 100 kilometers long.
And how long is La Manche, like the British?
This would be twice as long as the Eurotunnel between France and England.
Yeah, so such things are possible, absolutely, technically. Technically, this is interesting, but the main problem is politics, I think, because America and Russia, we are not both countries are not ready to make this tunnel.
Yeah, and in case you don't know what genre we're dealing with here, you describe this as a documentary film, right?
Yes.
A documentary film about George. What's George's last name again?
George Kumal.
George Kumal.
Yeah.
Oh wow, great last name. George Kumal's, attempt, endeavor, lifelong or later lifelong obsession. He came into it like in the latter part of his life, right? To unite these different places and by way of this tunnel. So your documentary follows him trying to get this off the ground. Did you share his enthusiasm for the project, like he was trying to build?
Yes.
Or were you fascinated by it out of curiosity?
No, I was fascinated since I was like maybe in high school.
Yeah.
Because I grew up during the end of the Cold War, and Vlad and the people over in Russia I grew up being told they're our enemies. And I'm like, come on, they can't be all bad.
Yeah.
So I was always very curious about what life was like on the other side of the Iron Curtain in the Soviet Union. It was the Soviet Union back then.
Yeah.
And I was curious that like, wow, we're neighbors. It's very close together. And that was a land bridge like 10,000 years ago. The water level of the oceans were lower, and you could walk across from Asia to North America. And
not only people, even some fauna, I believe, went from the continent of Eurasia to America. And people, of course.
People and animals.
Indians, American Indians, they, at least, like how scientists think, they come originally from the Central Asia and then spread over, like, in many directions, including the Bering Strait. That was possible to overcome.
Wow. Okay, so jumping to your film, I would say your film is very great at communicating the ambition, the weight of this dream, George has. Did you anticipate it was going to take you to all these different unique places following George in his attempt, with his trusted sidekick?
I didn't know where it was going to take me, but I knew the whole time I wanted to go to this little island called Little Diomede. Because in the Bering Strait, there are two islands in the middle. One's called Little Diomede, it belongs to the United States, and one is Big Diomede, it belongs to Russia. And they're only 3 kilometers apart, and the international date line goes in between. So we went, in the film, we went to Little Diomede, and we could stand there on the island and we could see Russia, the Russian island, because it's only 3 kilometers.
Oh yes.
But that's tomorrow, because the date line goes in between.
Wow.
So Russia is already tomorrow.
Oh, no.
So it's the tunnel to tomorrow. And I like this idea that you can ride through the tunnel, and then you go into the future.
Yeah, in Tomorrowland.
Into Tomorrowland, And I knew I had the goal, I want to go to that island. I want to go to the international date line.